The Japanese word Ronin refers to a masterless samurai, one who walks alone. The meaning of being a Ronin shifted throughout different periods in Japanese history. Generally, however, being a Ronin carried the weight of failure. More specifically, it meant rejecting seppuku, the ritual suicide used by samurai to restore honor after defeat. Those who refused this act were seen as disgraced, living as outcasts. Some became mercenaries or bodyguards, while others turned to a life of crime. One of the most iconic Ronin in history is Miyamoto Musashi, known as Japan's greatest swordsman, undefeated in more than 60 duels. Musashi became a Ronin after surviving the Battle of Sekigahara, where he fought under General Hideyori. But Musashi was more than a fighter. He was also an artist, a philosopher, and a student of Buddhism. Among his many writings, he left us the Dokkodo, a list of 21 principles for those who walk alone, written just before he passed away. Although the samurai era is long gone, Musashi's teachings are still relevant. His principles offer timeless insight on how to live with purpose today. In this 3-part series, we'll explore all 21 rules from the Dokkōdō. These interpretations are inspired by Buddhist and Stoic thought, as well as personal reflections, meant to serve as guidance for modern life. In the Book of 5 Rings, Musashi explains the way of the warrior through swordsmanship, but it's clear that the way means more. It's a lifelong path of constant practice. From a Buddhist perspective, true practice begins with accepting the present moment as it is. Improvement is impossible if we aren't willing to be beginners first. Meditation teaches this same lesson. To grow stronger, we must start by facing what is, not what we wish for. Musashi goes even further, urging the warrior to accept death itself. In the samurai code, death is not only inevitable, but also honorable when chosen in defeat. Seppuku, while extreme to modern minds, was a way to preserve dignity. Accepting death, as Musashi teaches, is a way to make peace with life. In Buddhism, there's a practice called corpse meditation, where one contemplates death, either before a body or by visualizing it. Through repetition, one becomes free from the fear of dying. For a Ronin, acceptance of solitude is equally vital. Musashi traveled without a school or master, relying only on himself. His path was deeply solitary, and he could only thrive by embracing that aloneness. Though Musashi lived as a Ronin, he never strayed from his values. He could have chased wealth or become a criminal, but instead, he chose a higher path, committing to personal growth, spiritual study, and the art of the long sword. Pleasure, in his view, should never be the goal. At most, it is a byproduct of living virtuously. While the meaning of virtue changes across cultures and eras, we can still distinguish between chasing pleasure for ourselves and acting from a place of purpose. Musashi's view mirrors both Stoic and Buddhist wisdom. Epictetus argued that it's better to overcome pleasure than to be controlled by it. Buddhism teaches that pleasure isn't true joy, it's just relief from craving, which only grows stronger if fed. For a Ronin, this is especially true. Pleasure-seeking becomes a trap, pulling a wanderer into comfort and distraction. The cravings for food, entertainment, or desire tether one to the mundane world and steal time from practice. Had Musashi indulged in pleasure during his years of solitude, he would never have reached mastery. Emotions are signals. They tell us something is happening, but they're not always helpful in decision-making. That's because emotions often arise from distorted thinking and incomplete views of reality. Musashi warns us not to rely on them blindly, because feelings are often partial. They don't show the whole truth. Acting on them too quickly can lead to mistakes and regret. Instead, we must observe our feelings with clarity, using reason and reflection. Are we acting from anger or fear? If so, we should pause and let the storm inside us settle before making any move. A warrior, especially, must approach battle with a clear mind. Emotional decisions can lead to disaster. It's better to wait, breathe, and act from calm awareness. 4. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Musashi was deadly with a sword, yet humble in spirit. He knew his own place in the grand scheme of things. To think lightly of oneself means understanding we're not the center of the universe. Yes, we matter, but in the scale of life and time, we're small. If we died tomorrow, the earth would keep spinning. We're dependent on the world around us, on air, food, others. Why put ourselves above it? The universe is vast and complex, and our ego is tiny in comparison. Realizing this gives us perspective. It makes arrogance seem foolish. A Ronin likely saw this clearly. Walking alone strips away illusions. It reminds us how fragile and unimportant we really are in the face of nature and time. That awareness keeps us grounded and helps us move through life with humility and grace. Desire and aversion are mirror images. If we avoid something, it's because we desire its opposite. Either way, we let outside conditions control our happiness. That's risky, because the world is unpredictable. Letting our joy depend on things we can't control sets us up for suffering. This idea echoes both Stoic and Buddhist views. In Buddhism, desire, especially attachment, is the root of all suffering. When we cling to external things, assuming they'll make us happy, we give away our power. Musashi wrote, "There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself." Yes, we should be humble before the vast universe, but we should also recognize that our true power lies in our own hands, not in what we try to extract from the world. Epictetus put it this way: "The things in our control are by nature free, but those not in our control are weak, enslaved, and belong to others." Musashi understood that chasing what we can't control is a losing battle, and we've all seen how desire, if unchecked, can lead to addiction. Self-awareness is a gift. The ability to admit mistakes and see where we've caused harm helps us grow and form meaningful relationships. But regret, when held onto too tightly, becomes a weight. At some point, we must move forward. Yes, showing remorse can be good, but endlessly beating ourselves up, that helps no one. Often, painful choices turn out to be blessings in disguise. With damage comes wisdom. Realizing our past faults can make us more compassionate and cautious moving forward. As the Dalai Lama once said, "When you lose, don't lose the lesson." A decision that looks like a mistake today might reveal itself as a blessing tomorrow. Life unfolds in ways we can never fully predict. That mystery is part of its beauty. For a Ronin, jealousy is a constant temptation. Being an outcast often means lacking what others have: community, comfort, wealth. Musashi walked alone, without a home, drifting from place to place. It's easy to envy those who seem more fortunate. We might feel jealousy seeing couples while we're single, or watching others succeed while we struggle. But that emotion is just another form of suffering, a painful wish for things to be different than they are. And when you walk alone, Envy is poison. A Ronin must focus only on what they can control, their own actions, their own path. Every second spent comparing yourself to others is energy wasted. Musashi didn't let envy cloud his mind. He trained, reflected, and mastered himself. And just like him, we must stay focused, especially in today's world of constant comparison. Walk with blinders if you must. Your journey is your own. These are the first 7 principles from Miyamoto Musashi's Dokkōdō, explored in part 1 of this 3-part series. Thank you for watching.